This week on Heart of Oak. So these are the days that drive general contractors insane.
Hi, I'm Lizzy.
And I'm PJ.
And we're Oak Development and Design.
Just hang 1,800 pounds in the air. Hope we don't break it. We tear down and rebuild houses. High fives for taking houses down.
From spec homes to custom renovations and design. Stop, you're bad at this.
We save what we can.
Rebuild what we can't.
I'm not exactly sure how we're gonna pay for it yet. It's not stressful. I'm not stressed.
Whoa!
We do it all here in New England, where we call home. We don't just flip houses.
We create homes. Heart of Oak is brought to you by
Timberland Pro. Always do, never done. Cam Appliance. Make your next appliance a Cam Appliance. Mid-Cape Home Centers, serving building professionals for 125 years. Mountain One Bank, where banking is in our nature. This is a lot of water that's coming out of the backyard. Are we concerned about how much water is coming out of it?
Yeah, I could pull a kayak out and start flowing down white water style.
The water back here was a major problem. And so what we did was we built a dry well through here with pipes and gravel. Then we ran it over to here where we dug a big hole and we filled it with gravel. So now all the water problem that we were having back in this corner is funneling its way into that dry well. And it seemed to have completely worked, so that's good news. We have had some fireworks this morning over at Squirrel Hill. Basically, we found out that the telephone pole up there that we thought we were running a service off of doesn't have an easement. And so we have a service pole behind our house, but the wire goes through someone else's property to the front street. When Hingham Light and Power came out this morning, they took a look at it and they're like, wait a minute, we don't think there's an easement for this, which means they don't have permission to actually run that line. If I can get the neighbor to allow us to do an easement, how much of a process and how expensive is it for me to put one in place with a neighbor?
I mean, assuming the neighbor's not going to shake you down for some money, then, you know, not terribly expensive. And this should be, frankly, a seller expense.
Because this is a problem for the electric company, they have made an offer to help us out by putting one of the two poles in at no cost if I were to put two poles down my driveway.
Okay.
Because they would have to replace this pole anyway. So they basically said, listen, if you pay for one extra pole, we'll run two poles and a line down your driveway. So in that case, we would just have to do an easement for ourselves. And that, I mean, for $1,000, I eliminate the problem. They would want the service on that end of the corner of the house. I'm okay with a conduit running down the side of the house. It doesn't have to be inside.
Yeah, as long as the wire is protected, and there'll be a 200 amp breaker there.
This is all utilities back here.
It's not ideal, but like you said, it does kind of make life a little difficult, but it definitely could have been worse.
All right, so it's a big day. We finally have siding going on this thing. So our hardy board siding is going up today. Psyched to see this going up. Excited to see all the details come together. So we got Jera up top putting his harness on because he's actually got the squirrel. I thought it was a rabbit. So Jera's putting the rabbit up, which was on the original barn. With each new project, we like to try to keep something from the original house to give the new house more character. But while everyone works hard, the schedule still slips. I've been telling the client that we're shooting for April 1st. So I took a stab at this.
That wasn't a joke, by the way.
That wasn't a joke. We've lost about 6 weeks, I'd say, right? Typically, we don't have a lot of control over the schedule. Mother Nature dictates what we can do. The thing that is a big wild card is the rest of the patio, the driveway, the irrigation, and the planting.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how that's totally weather dependent.
Good luck. So these are the days that drive general contractors insane. We can't get our insulation inspection until the rest of that hardy board up top is on, but we can't side because it's snowing. It's just too dangerous for these guys to be up high. I can't fix the weather, but I definitely can fix the snowplow. Hey, do we have any blocks, cinder blocks or anything? Okay. Basically, it's been dropping, which has given us a hard time. Because the Jeep has a lift kit, we found that the blade has been digging in kind of tough when we're plowing. So we're gonna drop this to the lowest setting. So we're gonna lower this pin down to bring the whole frame down a little bit to see if it helps. Good. All right, ready? Okay, now put it in on the bottom. Got tools in my tool bag. Your tool bag? It's snowing so hard, I'm losing the cotter pins in the snow. I feel pretty good about that. I wonder if Mass General would be okay with what I'm doing right now, the first day out of my boot.
If you're a regular viewer, you know that I broke my foot in Mexico.
Is that hitting?
The guys stay at it, and we get back on track.
So we got this recycling dumpster about 5 weeks ago. It's unbelievable to me how many times I've thrown cardboard into a construction dumpster and it just goes to a landfill. It makes no sense. So hopefully we're starting a new trend. We'll see. I almost took you out. Today the guys are putting the shiplap siding on the barn, which is a really kind of exciting pinnacle moment because it means we're almost done siding, thank God. It's not fresh from an actual tree trunk. It's actually weathered and dried out already. So when we put it up, it's not gonna shrink as much as, say, something out of a tree trunk. It's up in the air right now if we're gonna stain this, leave it natural. The original thought was we were gonna leave it natural, but now that we see it up, we may talk to the customer and see if we wanna stain it or not. And what's really fun about this image right here is all of the different materials we're using here, right? So we had a concrete half wall here from the original barn, which we wrapped with veneer. We have our treadstone on top. We have our lead, so water's gonna come down this, hit the lead, and roll off instead of going in. We have our shiplap siding. We have our AZEK composite trim here with our historic seal. We have our Pella window.
And with all that, we have a weather-tight barn.
Talking about doors.
Doors, they open and shut.
It looks so different.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So our friends at Mid-Cape were busy this morning. They've delivered all of the trim and the doors you can see behind me here for the project. The idea is to get them on site as early as we can so they start to acclimate to the environment. We want the wood to be as dry as possible and as stable as possible in here. So when we install it, all of the joints and everything stay as tight as possible. We're staging it here in the garage now. You can see we've got all sorts of casing for the windows, the doors. I've got some various stair parts there. Tearing into this here, this is the flooring. We went with a pre-finished floor. This stuff installed is gonna look great. It has a lot of character to it too, so you can see these knots, a lot of natural knots and checks, and yeah, it really looks like it's gonna really mimic an old oak floor.
But upstairs, we have a problem. You know the expression, measure twice, cut once? Well,
Talking about doors.
Doors, they open and shut.
Ed, do you think that's too high?
Yes.
The dilemma that we're having is that the split jamb pre-hung doors that we ordered are a little too high for the half-inch engineered flooring we're putting down. So we have like a 1-inch space between the door and the floor. The problem is cutting them is tricky because they come pre-assembled. All right, I'm taking a break to drink my coffee and eat a donut before I get more frustrated. Hey, you want to split a donut? It worked. Go that way a little. Today we're going to walk you through how to install a split door jamb. Now, typically I buy pre-hung doors without the actual trim on it, and I just buy it as a frame. But this time we decided to go with the split jamb, which I haven't put a split jamb in like 15 years. I've actually split the jamb apart. So this is the other side. So this has the casing and the rest of the jamb on it. Now I'm gonna take the entire frame, I'm gonna put it into the actual rough opening. What I like to do is I like to hold the side with the hinges over to the framing. So I'm gonna check the level of my hinge side first. It's dead on. So I'm happy with that. So I know I can nail the entire door on the left side and it's gonna be good. The next thing I'm gonna do is take my hammer, make sure all the plaster's nice and clean and I'm not gonna get hung up with my shims. So that's good to go. So now, because I've taken the nails out of the door, you'll notice the door is a little bit loose. So you have to hold the door as you move it. I have my hinge side in. I'm gonna get the whole frame in. I'm gonna take my level again. I'm gonna check the hinge. I'm gonna kick the bottom out where I want it. Open the door and see, okay, it's working right. And now what I'm gonna look at is my reveal. I'm looking at two things. I'm looking at the space around the door, and I'm also looking at how the door is sitting in the actual jamb. If it's good up in this corner, I'm gonna tack this corner, because I'm happy with where that is. And then on the bottom, I know I need to bring the jamb this way because the door is sitting out about a 1/4 inch. I gotta check the reveal here. I like the reveal. So we have an operational one-sided split door. So now I'm gonna jump on the other side.
Now it's time to install shims.
So we've got all the shingles in. I'm gonna take my level and just double check I'm happy with how everything's sitting. Everything looks good. I'm gonna test the door one more time. I've nailed the jamb at the shingles, but I've also nailed the shingles to kind of keep them in place. Now I'm gonna cut them all off, take the jamb, apply it, and nail it in. So this is actually the delicate part because you don't want it to fall apart. You want to be very careful with it. And I'm nailing through both jambs now. And that is how we put together a split jamb door. Totally installed, trimmed out, and ready for hardware. The essentials to late night hardware installation. Drill, screwdriver, preferably using that. Hammer just in case. Lock set, door. Step one, unpackage everything. Take the handle off the side with the screws. Ditch all the crap they give you that you don't need. And keep that because it's handy as you do other ones. Step two, install the latch. Step three, always put the screws on the side you don't see a lot. Step four, put the knob back on. Step five will be put the striker on. And success. Within 4 minutes, I have needles sticking my legs.
According to Oakley, you had needles in your blood pipes.
She goes, Dad, are your blood pipes okay?
Hey, how quickly do you think you can fire block out of Meadowlark?
Well, as quick as I can get down there, we're leaving right now.
Do you want me to send Jonathan down with you? No.
No, I have my hardworking wife, Lizzy, coming with me.
Meadowlark is our newest project, a giant but dated house on Cape Cod. On the way down, Lizzy wants to know about the run-in I had with Mother Nature the day before.
That was insane.
Apparently, I'm allergic to wasps.
No, but seriously, like, how does that just happen? Haven't you been stung before?
Apparently, the doctor said is if you get stung a bunch of times in your life, eventually you become allergic. I'm not sure why. So
story is
I got stung walking out of the tiny house.
Yeah.
And
came home, you were like, oh, look, I got stung by a wasp.
yeah, like no big deal. Like, yeah, it hurt, but whatever. So I was on my way down to Osterville to check the job. And as I got on the highway, I started itching like this. I'm like, man, why am I so itchy? Looked in the mirror and it was like, oh, think I have a problem. I went to the pharmacy. You and I talked on the phone. Of course, you were like, maybe you should go to the hospital.
And you were like,
I'm
oh, no, I'm good. I'm not going to the hospital. I don't need to go to the hospital.
Well, I
Just
didn't
be
think it
safe.
was that bad. I just thought I was getting a rash, right?
Just like all over your face when you got stung on your back.
Even the pharmacist is like, it's not that bad. Just take 2 Benadryl, you'll be fine. I keep driving thinking, okay, it'll get better once the Benadryl kicks in.
No problem, can't breathe.
10 minutes later, I call my Aunt Karen, who, as you know, is an ICU nurse, just to like get her vibe on it too.
Yeah. So
And
you always listen to Aunt Karen,
always.
but not your wife.
She's the smartest person I know. And the nearest DR was 17 minutes away, and I was like, screw it. I can get there faster if I just drive. I know that's irresponsible, but I did. And by the time I got there, I was having chest pains. I couldn't hear well. My throat was killing me
so
all
like
the way down.
full
in here.
anaphylactic shock.
100% full anaphylactic shock. I drove myself there. Within 4 minutes, I have needles sticking my legs.
According to Oakley, you had needles in your blood pipes.
She goes, Dad, are your blood pipes okay? Here I am today. Got a good night's sleep last night, and I think I'm okay.
Don't get stung by a wasp.
Don't get stung by a wasp. What a mess. So this is coming along.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a
coming
stump.
along. I should have ordered a bigger machine because this stump's just a little too much for it.
Yeah.
Stump is like bigger than the bucket.
I just take some old blades. So I'm just going to chop this in half and then move around and strip this loam off.
PJ, do
Okay.
you like think in your head like there better not be any wasps around? Or do you not even think about it?
No, I actually saw one at Hope yesterday, and I like jumped. Like, totally scared of bees now. You ready?
Sure.
Let's go.
What do you do?
Okay, so this is fireproof foam.
Yeah.
So all of what we call,
Fire holes. Fire in the hole.
we'll call it fire holes. Fill them with a little bit. That's it. That's it. That's it. Just one quick little squirt. That I would fill. Even though there's no wire, there's a hole.
Oh.
Meanwhile, outside, the cage match between Ernie and the stump continues.
What if I find one?
What do you get if you find one?
Yeah, what's the bet?
I get to fire block in your nose?
You gotta buy me dinner.
Buy you dinner? So dumb.
Good? Crushed it.
You want to find one so badly.
So far, so good.
That's not the floor, that's below the floor.
No, it's not. It's
Yeah,
in,
sure
it's
it
in the
is.
wall, and you missed one right there. Nice
No,
try.
this
You
does
owe me
not
dinner.
even count.
It does count. It's in between the floors and it's in the wall.
You said on
I
the
did
floor
not.
and on the ceiling.
I'll take a
No, this doesn't even reach.
Mexican dinner, please.
Heading down to Meadowlark Lane. We're really trying to get everything together quickly in this next couple of weeks here so we can hit the summer market. Heading down to Meadowlark Lane. What have we been calling this? Osterville project? Need to get better at this. There's too many jobs. Always good to have eyes on the job, make sure that everyone's doing what they're asked. The saying goes, control the process or accept the outcome. Nice day to be at the beach. For Osterville, we try and head down early on in the week to avoid the dreaded Cape traffic. We're going to zero in on rough inspections this week, so make sure everything's in the right spot. We're really trying to get everything together quickly in this next couple of weeks here so we can hit the summer market. So let's go and check that out. All right. The thing we're most excited about down here is what we've done with the air conditioning. We've taken a mini split system for the cooling, and we've taken the forced hot water radiators that were on the walls here and replaced them with this high velocity system. Well, let's head on upstairs and see what we've got up there. Make sure we had enough flooring so we don't run out halfway through the job. So the main house, we're going to go with a 5-inch white oak, a standard wood flooring install. Downstairs here we have the concrete, so we have to take a slightly different approach. We're going to use an engineered wood product which can be glued down. So what we've done here is expanded our entryway. The door previously was right here, so you'd open the door and you'd end up right on the staircase. So we've pushed it out, we've taken up real estate, which was the front patio, and added this, extra space here to kind of come in and look at the nice new views. If anyone's wondering why we do this kind of crazy layout with the wire on the wall, it's so we can place the vanity, we can place the mirror, and once everything's where it needs to be, the guys can place the boxes where they need to be, open up a little hole, and the wire's going to be right where they need it. We're going to get all of our inspections done, and then board and plaster on the wall. We'll be able to get floors installed, and then the guys will move from the outside with the painting and come on inside. So we'll be able to get the place on the market, which, you know, we're really trying to set a quick pace here to hit the summer market, which is upon us.
A quick turnaround requires quick electrical work too.
There's nothing worse than walking into a house and having the wrong lighting layout, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you come in and you're flicking switches here and you're walking over here and going, what does what?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I've been in houses like that before. That sucks. So let's make sure we're not doing that here.
Okay.
So what are we thinking?
I was thinking if we just stack a couple 2 gangs.
I'm okay with that.
That's what the lighting is then?
Yeah.
It's fine, you can come in and come over here or over here.
Yeah.
But some people like coming in and just not, you don't even have to look, use your right hand.
Right, and that's the whole point of putting them close to the door is you can come into a dark house and quickly just switch on some sort of area lighting, right? Yeah, okay. I would say if we could try and avoid stacking boxes wherever possible,
Okay.
I'd like to do that just because it's for an aesthetic kind of
Right.
thing. But I do understand here we've got like a tight kind of entryway.
Right.
So for general lighting layouts, I would maybe just this whole room, that's kitchen.
Okay.
I would use this as like a dining, and then that's living. So 3 kind of general for your recess circuits. That was good to crack the whip on everybody. We didn't have to fire anyone. The guys are on the straight and narrow, and I think we're in good shape to hit our target dates for our rough inspection. So it's tight, but I think we got this one. I mean, what's a good rock video unless you're smashing windows?
They're breaking stuff again.
Isn't it smash it up?
They've somehow been stupid enough to let me in this machine.
I want to break some bones, maybe they'll be
The camera's shooting the camera, who's shooting me, who's shooting the camera, who's shooting the other camera. All right, the big ones went. Now the little guys gotta go. Little ones are always a pain in the butt.